please take your seats. We'll call the council meeting to order. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Council President Pro Tem Leitner, Councilmember Faulkner, Councilmember Cole, Councilmember Kersey, Councilmember Zapp, Councilmember Sherman, Councilmember Alvarez, Councilmember Emerald, Council President Gloria.
Here. The Pledge of Allegiance this afternoon will be led by Council President Pro Tem Sherry Leitner.
Please join me in the pledge. Face the flag. Ready. Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. We will start this afternoon with our discussion agenda. Clerk, would you please introduce item 600?
Yes, item 600, consider confirming the appointment of Walt Eckert as interim city manager effective July 15, 2013. And we do have two public speakers, both in favor. Mr. Head Collins, followed by S. Clive Richard. Please come forward.
Gentlemen, if you come forward, I appreciate you helping us expedite the public comment. Welcome, Mr. Collins.
Good afternoon, Mr. President, council members. A few weeks ago, I welcomed Walt Eckert here and wished him well as the COO. So I'll again reiterate that thought, but I would say with all due respect to Mr. Eckert, not as a complaint and certainly not as a criticism, but rather something constructive. With regards to Bob Filner, we all must remember that he is an employee, and as an employee in this city, there is a zero tolerance towards harassment. Now, Mr. Eckert, as the COO, had a responsibility, like any other employee, to suspend him. In this city, those kind of accusations warrant a suspension upon investigation. So I would say to Mr. Eckert, any employee under his command has to be suspended upon that kind of accusation. So I wish him well in his current new job.
S. Clive Richard, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the City Council. My name is Clive Richard. I'm in the Council District of this city. These are some very difficult times. However, I have to say that I was very happy to see that the name of Walt Eckert was brought up as the new COO, or interim COO, as it were. And I'm strongly in support of someone who will bring strong executive discipline back to San Diego. I really miss Jay, because I thought that he was that open type of person. I hope that Walt will prove to be the same here in the city of San Diego. I strongly encourage you to move forward with this confirmation. I'm glad that it's finally happening. When I first heard that he was nominated or named, I wondered why we hadn't had it here, but it's here, and please move forward.
That concludes the public speakers on this item.
Very good. Return to the council. Start with Mr. Faulkner.
Thank you, Mr. Gloria. I'm happy to move the recommendation. Mr. Eckert has been a tremendous public servant here in the San Diego region for a number of years. I think many people are familiar with his work at the County of San Diego and the excellent work he did there. So I'm happy to move his nomination forward today.
Thank you. We have a motion by Mr. Faulkner. It was seconded by Ms. Emerald. Ms. Emerald, do you have some comments?
Yeah, I just want to echo Mr. Faulkner's comments about Mr. Eckert. He's supremely qualified. He's already been very helpful working with various issues out of our district and citywide issues, and I feel very confident to have him helping to guide our city forward.
Thank you, Ms. Emerald. There's no additional comments. We have a motion by Mr. Faulkner. It was seconded by Ms. Emerald. Ma'am, please maintain order in this case. If you did not follow this, ma'am, please have a seat. We will get to you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. We have a motion by Mr. Faulkner. It was seconded by Ms. Emerald. I'd ask all the council members to please vote. Clerk, please call the roll. That item passes unanimously with districts 4 and 7 absent. Madam Clerk, will you please introduce item 601?
Yes, item 601, consider confirming the appointment of Scott Chadwick as interim city manager or chief operating officer from March 1st, 2013 to July 14th, 2013. We do have one public speaker in favor. Ask Clive Richard. Please come forward, Mr. Richard.
Welcome back, Clive.
Thank you. This would have been the first nomination that would have been approved by the city council if we had gone in regular order, but whatever. I'm glad that he did a good job while he was in the position, and I assume that it would be a good idea for me to confirm that he did a job. Thank you.
That concludes the public speakers on this item.
Thank you very much. We'll turn now to the council, starting with Ms. Emily.
That's right, did the job and hopefully will continue to do so in his typical excellent form. I would move the item.
We have a motion by Ms. Emerald. Is that a second by Mr. Alvarez? Second by Mr. Alvarez. If there's no additional comments, I ask the council to please vote. Clerk, please call the roll. That passes unanimously with districts 4 and 7 absent. Very good. Now we will take public testimony on our closed session agenda. This item will be heard by the council in closed session immediately preceding following public testimony. Madam Clerk, would you please introduce the item?
Yes, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation pursuant to California Government Code Section 54956.9D1, SCS1, McCormick Jackson versus City of San Diego et al. We do have 40 public speakers on this item. And there are 2 seats reserved in the front for speakers. Please come forward when your name is called. We have Hud Collins, followed by Jarvis Ross, followed by Zian Rim.
Very good. Each public speaker will be given 1 minute to address the council. Mr. Collins, you're going to show us a good example. Mr. Collins, would you do me a favor? Would you point to the timer in front of you?
Fine, 2 minutes.
Very good. Ladies and gentlemen, that's where you'll see the amount of time that you have. It'll tell you when your time is up. You'll hear a small chime. I'd ask you to work with us to try and keep within the time limit so we take all the public testimony in an orderly fashion. I appreciate everyone being down here at council today, and we'll certainly listen to your comments closely before we go into deliberations. Mr. Collins, the floor is yours.
Afternoon again, sir. The council should be voting for no money to Mr. Filner whatsoever. This was a mediation supposedly under the guise of this lawsuit. Not one thing came out of that towards the lawsuit. It will go on according to Ms. Allred. She in fact says no money should be given to Mr. Faulkner. Now, I mean, Mr. Filner. Sorry, Mr. Faulkner.
Mr. Collins.
Now, I personally know of an incident, a felony assault and battery by Mr. Filner on October 6th. He has committed various assault and batteries on women over the years and certainly within the last year. So, as I filed this morning, a special victims fund should be set up by this council, $500,000 to compensate all complainants within the last year. Because there's going to be something lost in the shuffle in this settlement and mediation talks. Thank you.
Jarvis Ross, followed by Zian Rim, followed by Joel S. Tracy.
Council members, while I join with the majority in opposition to any form of abuse of women, I'm appalled at the abuse of the Constitution of these United States and these chambers and this city. The Fifth Amendment states no person shall be held to answer for capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on presentment of an indictment of the grand jury. It goes on to say, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be witness against himself or deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Apparently, Attorney Allred forgets that the city of San Diego deemed it appropriate to defend a San Diego police officer accused of multiple sexual assaults against women. But somehow, that same rationale does not apply to our mayor. In a fiscally responsible manner, the Plaza in Panama, cleaning up bedrock, focusing on the neglected 4th and 8th council districts, and meeting with the members of the public on the first Saturday of the month. I would encourage this council to support the results of the arbitration, including the legal defense of this mayor.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Rim, if you can just hold on a moment, we're going to hold your time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a public meeting of the San Diego City Council, and I expect every San Diegan who comes to address the council today to conduct themselves in a professional manner. I would ask you to not applaud because it takes away from the public testimony. Members of the council cannot hear what the people are saying. If you feel the need to signal your support for someone who's speaking, I ask you to wave your hands. That typically will signal visually to the council that you agree. I'd also ask you not to interrupt the speakers. This is each individual citizen's opportunity to let their feelings be known, whether you support or oppose the mayor. This is your opportunity to speak, and I will not allow anyone to detract from any other citizen. So please conduct yourselves with the respect that we hope that every San Diego conduct themselves with. Mr. Rim, you'll have your 1 minute.
The word civil rights and the word justice. Does City Council do anything in the favor of the mayor which will violate the ladies that got violated by Bob Filner, will violate their civil rights and social justice? So I ask the City Council to take into consideration on behalf of the city that he violated, and most importantly, violate these women. The word civil rights. Bob Filner did it 50 years ago, but with deeds today, he violated the word civil rights and social justice. I urge this council not to vote in this favor, and I urge the city of San Diego and its citizens of all parties to support the recall. We should not do anything in his favor. Otherwise, he's telling the young ladies that got violated toward them that it was A-OK, which is not. So support the recall. Thank you very much.
Joel S. Tracy, followed by Mike Slater, followed by S. Clive Richard.
Dear members of the San Diego City Council, I ask that each of you stand with the majority of San Diegans and vote no. Allow the recall process to pan out. Do not let this man off. Do not pay a dime from taxpayer money to the man. The majority of taxpayers and citizens of San Diego do not support a path which brokers a deal for Bob Filner. Ms. Jackson and the other victims are entitled to make their claims against Mr. Filner and pursue him in court. The city will have to face a degree of culpability for whatever actual failure can be attributed to those city employees who actively and knowingly aided them or failed to do their jobs. Please consider investigating and supporting the termination of any of those employees who contributed to the scandal in order to actually address the root cause. Labor Relations was in charge of investigating and handling the claims by victims. Did they actually do their job? How about the mayor's personal security detail? All of whom were sworn city police officers. They had an obligation under the law to support and protect the citizens of San Diego, not the mayor's inappropriate or illegal behavior. The taxpayers elected you to office to stand in their place, to vote on their behalf, and to do what is right. Sorry.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mike Slater, followed by S. Clive Richard, followed by Leslie Williams.
I'm here to encourage you to pass and let the people finish the full recall effort. This is not just about us. This country desperately needs to see the people of San Diego do this on our own. This country needs to see the people of San Diego finish this recall and end the black eye on our city on our own terms, in the open, not lawyers' terms made behind closed doors. My message from our listeners who live in all your districts is to let us do this the right way. Let us prove to the country that our politicians are not above the law and we can do this on our own. I understand the desire you all have. We all have to put this behind us. But I promise, what is ahead of us is a stronger city if we take the hard way, because it happens to also be the right way. We may have been a national laughingstock. Only a full recall can make our city the nation's shining example. I know you can all be frustrated that at times it looks like you guys are a TV show and we're just on the couch watching as passive citizens. I promise you, we are off the couch now. Please don't tell the people of San Diego to sit back down. Thank you guys so much. I'm praying for you and everyone here for wisdom and guidance. Thank you guys.
S. Clive Richard, followed by Leslie Williams, followed by Al Sterline.
Members of the City Council, city staff, my name is Clive Richard and I live in the 9th Council District of this city. I'm also a very proud citizen, resident of this city, and I hope that whatever decision, I don't know what your decision is, I don't even know what the issue is before you, but what I hope you will do, what I expect you to do, is to make a decision based on what you firmly believe is in the best interest of this city. And that is the most important thing. I understand the issues on the side of this, but what is in the best interest of this city is what you are expected to do. And I hope that you do what you are expected to do. Thank you.
Leslie Williams, followed by Al Sterline, followed by Bill Bernard.
Hi, my name is Leslie Williams, and I'm here today to show my support for the victims who have alleged sexual harassment concerning Mayor Bob Filner. I'm also a sexual harassment victim, but I decided not to use this forum for my own statements. I'm here today to show my support for the victims of Mayor Filner. Thank you.
Al Sterline, followed by Bill Bernard, followed by Stamp Corbin.
April 30th, 1975, Saigon. The roof of the U.S. Embassy. Councilor Leitner will recognize the name. Air Force Colonel Dave Odell. Before he volunteered to save La Jolla, Dave flew airplanes. Dave died at hospice in 1996. He was born a colonel and died as one. Dave's sister, Mary Ruth, asked me to give the eulogy and to find a copy of the photograph taken on the day the U.S. forces left Saigon. On an overburdened ladder, the photo showed a throng scrambling to the roof where helicopters hovered. Dave was at the base of that ladder, pushing the terrified to safety, mindless of his own. When Mary Ruth asked me to find that photo, the only person I knew in Washington who could read was Bob Filner. I called his office and told the clerk that I needed it for Dave's eulogy. 2 days later, the photo was in my hand.
Bill Bernard, followed by Stamp Corbin, followed by Elisa Brent.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I ask that in addition to allowing people to speak, you actually listen to what they say, consider and reflect on what they said. Also, it's impossible to weigh in intelligently on this issue without having the proposal in front of us. But that being said, I'm opposed to paying any of Bob Filner's legal bills, and I'm opposed to any financial payout. I have mediated and been part of settlement conferences, over hundreds of them, and I understand the fiscal and the economic basis that you're looking at. But the larger picture that you guys need to understand is the message that you're going to be sending to our leaders in the future, as well as our youth. If you agree to pay Bob Filner's expenses and provide a payout, you're telling our future leaders and our youth that it's okay to do something wrong. Someone will come and bail you out. And that is not the message that we want to be sending to anybody. Everyone is accountable for their actions, and they must make and face their consequences. Bob Filner's been accused of wrongdoing. He should do what's right and ask the city to resign like any other elected official. He should be afforded his due process, but the payment of his legal fees and judgments are his responsibility. Thank you, sir.
Stamp Corbin, followed by Elisa Brent, followed by Valerie Sanfilippo.
Good afternoon, City Council members. I'm going to give you some tough loves today. You have failed us. This media circus behind us is because of you. When you did the Strong Mayor Charter and you didn't figure out how you would be able to impeach a mayor, that's on you. That's not on the citizens of San Diego. That's not the citizenry who decided what that charter would be. A simple look at the division of powers of the United States of America would have told you that you needed to have a way to get rid of a mayor. But we don't. So what we have is this media circus. And you can say, I wasn't here when the Strong Mayor Charter was developed. But you as a city council member should have read what the charter said and understood the division of powers when you took your office.
Thank you, sir.
Elisa Brent, followed by Valerie Sanfilippo, followed by Irma Valadez.
Thank you, President Gloria and City Council members. I'm Elisa Brent, formerly from the Recall Bob Filner effort, and I want to say no deal. please do not strike a deal with Mayor Filner. The recall effort is a grassroots effort. The people of San Diego have made their voices heard. They're coming out in unison to state that they do not want Mayor Filner in office. We have this process set up. Let him be recalled. Thank you. Our voices will be heard and will restore America's finest city.
Valerie Sanfilippo, followed by Irma Valdez, followed by Maria Ochoa.
So we only get 1 minute because you're on vacation, right? Good afternoon, I'm Valerie Sanfilippo. I'm a county and state worker laid off. I support the city allowing Mayor Filner to continue as mayor and the city settling his simple violation as an administrative matter. The city should refuse to pay Gloria Allred and her client and prosecute them for elevating the matter to a lawsuit. If Mayor Filner is being forced to resign over an administrative violation, the city should grant the mayor all his fees and pension to be paid out of damages paid by the GOP, not the taxpayers. The city should prosecute the GOP for planting the accuser in the mayor's office for the purpose of suing the mayor out of the office. The city should prosecute Sheriff Gore for overreaching his authority and opening a criminal case on a violation. The city should prosecute Chief Lansdowne for overreaching his authority to spend money on Mayor Filner's private trip to embarrass the mayor. The city should prosecute the DA for attempting to elevate. You get the idea. If the people ask you why you stood up for Mayor Filner, you tell them you stood up for everybody's rights. And the city needs to make the GOP pay for what they've done to Mayor Filner, to the city, and to the people of San Diego.
Irma Valdez, followed by Maria Ochoa, followed by Bernardo Valdez Castro.
Good morning. I have to tell you that we see you, we watch you on TV, we read about you, we see what you're doing in the media, and we're not fooled. We know this is a circus to get a good man out of office. We know who you are. We know who's who. Let me tell you, I just changed my affiliation. None of you, except maybe somebody, will have my vote. And I will be very active, more active in the community. I voted for this mayor. I voted for him because he was good to the South Bay community. Because he knows there's a community down there in the South. And he comes there. And he advocates for us. And he listened to us. And I have a daughter. And he shared photos with my daughter. And I was there. And there's a lot of single women in this community. And he was always very respectful. This is a good man. He just didn't go into the mob. Everybody wants money. The Chargers want money. The hotel people want money. He didn't give it to you. And we're going to be watching you very close.
Maria Ochoa, followed by Bernardo Valdez Castro, followed by Rosa Plasencia.
Buenos días, mi nombre es María Ochoa, soy de la comunidad de Villanueva. Tuve el honor de ir a Washington.
Good morning, good afternoon, my name is Maria Ochoa and I'm from the community of...
Tuve el honor de ir a Washington, a la oficina del señor Bob Filner. Siempre fue respetuoso y si las personas estas que ya están maduras, porque están grandes, ya están maduras y saben las leyes de California.
I went to Washington, D.C. on a trip and I met with Congressman Filner at the time. He was very respectful. If these older women know the laws of California.
Porque hasta ahorita están sacando eso y no hicieron antes un reporte de policía. Sabemos.
Why are they now saying this and why did they not file complaints prior?
Porque esperaron tanto tiempo. Si las reglas y las leyes del harassment sabemos que son muy delicadas en este país. ¿Por qué esperaron tanto tiempo? ¿Quién les pagó? ¿Por qué lo hacen hasta ahorita?
If we know that the laws are very delicate for sexual harassment, why did they wait so long? Who paid them off? Why did they make these accusations?
Si Bob Filner sí es una buena persona, que les quede bien claro a todos ustedes y a todos ustedes, es buena persona. Por eso están abusando de él.
Bob Filner is a very good person. Let it be clear to everyone here.
¿Dónde está la justicia aquí? ¿Dónde está?
Where is the justice?
¿Quién está detrás de todo esto?
Who is behind all of this?
Investiguen bien.
Please investigate.
parece mafia esto ya. Con permiso.
Bernardo Valdez Castro, followed by Rosa Plasencia, followed by Maria Gonzalez.
I'm going to be a little short on my speech. Good evening, members of the council. I think Mr. Bob Filner should not resign. And once again, for the members of the council, I tell you, respect my vote. And for all of you, on my personal opinion, do not gang up against Mr. Bob Filner. Thank you.
Rosa Plasencia, followed by Maria Gonzalez, followed by Lonnie Lutar.
Buenas tardes a todos. Con todo respeto, yo quiero decirle mi opinión acerca del señor Filner. Que lamento mucho lo que está pasando y veo todo aquí, parece que estamos en otro tiempo. Pero creo que hemos evolucionado.
Thank you very much for the time. I need to,
Tengo una opinión.
He has an opinion.
Muy personal porque conviví con él.
Very personal because
Necesitamos su apoyo.
very personal. She has interacted with Mr. Filner.
Por más de 3 años estuvimos muy cercano a él por juntas que teníamos para ayudar en la comunidad de Guinea.
For more than 3 years, we had a very close relationship in which he was helping work in BNY.
Ahora lo que se dice de él, porque no se le está llevando un juicio, no está aprobado.
Now, what is being said about him without a due process.
Porque, yo lo conozco como una persona honesta.
I know him as an honest person.
Nunca le vi en sus ojos ni en sus labios una palabra, una mirada que faltara al respeto y convivió con muchas mujeres de la comunidad de Guinea.
I never saw him in his eyes or in his lips or anywhere else anything but respect, because he had a lot of relationships and personal interactions with a lot of the people in BNY.
Y repito, lo considero una persona honrada, honorable, respetuosa y que hizo mucho, no nomás por mi comunidad.
And I repeat that I feel that he is an honorable person that did a lot for me and my community.
Y siento mucho pesar lo que está pasando, porque ¿qué nos espera a todos? Yo le pregunto a cada uno de ustedes, analicen si estuviera pasando por su situación.
Gracias.
¿A ustedes les gustaría un juicio igual que está teniendo Bob Filner? Porque no hubiera un juicio por un juez. Gracias.
Gracias.
Put yourself in his place if you would like to have the same treatment.
Good afternoon. My name is Lonnie Lutar, and I come before you as a concerned citizen, as a mother, and as a friend of several victims that have been subject to inappropriate behavior by Mr. Bob Filner. None of us have the information that you all will have in a matter of minutes. And I've had the opportunity to work with a number of you over the years. In particular, Council Members Gloria, Council President Gloria, and Council Member Faulkner, and City Attorney Jan Goldsmith. We don't always agree on the issues. I know we have different values, but what I do know about all 3 of you is that you care about San Diego. You deeply care about San Diego, and this is a non-partisan issue. And so I trust that you have brought forward a recommendation that you think is in the community's best interest. What I also know is that there is no option in which the taxpayers will not have to pay. So I wish you the best. I wanted to let you know I have full confidence in your decision today.
Carol Eisman, followed by David Ross, followed by Jeff Johnson.
I come here telling you that I'm going to have to put trust in you because this mayor needs to be out of office. However, I caution you, please do not hold our city hostage, because if you can't come to an agreement on this, I can tell you that we will recall him. It is easy to get the signatures, so don't sell us out. And if he doesn't resign today, today, then we will keep on getting the signatures and we will recall him. I also ask that you stop dividing us as a city. The positive side that came out of this recall is this whole city came together. Every district, every area, every age, every person of a political persuasion. And we can come together. Stop dividing us, unite us, and let's go forward to America's finest city. Thank you.
David Ross, followed by Jeff Johnson, followed by Michael McCormick, and David Ross has time ceded by Marjorie Villegas for a total of 2 minutes.
Yes, hi, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. President. I do have a couple of comments of my own, but I'm going to read something from the paper that speaks to what you as a council had said. The council decided late last month not to pay Filner's legal fees and go after him for the damages the city has suffered as a result of a lawsuit against him to get him removed from office, something the council has unanimously called for. The council could adjust this decision. I agree totally, and I'm an old corporate guy. I've been coming up here for years, and I was 27 years with General Motors and Mercedes-Benz. You'd be out of there by now, trust me. I know the system's a little more complicated here, but so it takes a lot of bureaucracy to address a lot of bureaucracy. Unfortunately, the allegations against this individual, and it's not a personal thing with me. I mean, I've known him for 15 years, but this is business. We're a business group here today, trying to do business for the city in the right way. There's a recall that's going on that everybody said had no shot at all. Jan had absolutely no shot to get 101,000 signatures. Well, they got like 30,000. Let that proceed. Let that take its course. Let that take its course so that we don't have to, as a corporation, pay money out, irrespective of the opinion of the people, 101,000 people, which you'll get. And then we can hopefully avoid the expense and the minutia of all the things that we have to go through. Unfortunately, this individual allegedly has done some things that are reprehensible in his representation of the city. Now, it's yet to be proven in court, but in the meantime, you don't pay somebody on the way out with a golden parachute. It's blown up the dealership practically. So do the right thing, and let's wait for this recall to talk for the people, and not just David Ross or anyone else, for the people. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Jeff Johnson, followed by Michael McCormick, followed by John P. Falke.
Good afternoon, President Gloria, Council. My name is Jeff Johnson. I'm also known on Twitter as Echo 5 Juliet. Here's my petition. I volunteered to work in this petition drive because I have 3 daughters. Not because of the left or right bias politically. I have 3 daughters. I have a wife, a mother, and a nana. I did it because we're America's finest city, and frankly, we're better than this. I know you have a deal before you that the public doesn't know the details of. I know that as the chief executive of the city, any actions that, alleged actions that Mayor Filner might have engaged in, the city may be on the hook for legally, financially. But I implore you, do not approve any balloon payment, any mayoral pension, or any personal money that this mayor may leave with. I also ask you to have faith in the recall. Thank you very much.
Michael McCormick, followed by John P. Falke, followed by Julie Adams.
Hello, I'm Mike McCormick. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. As citizens, we have the right to vote, and we have the right to recall. I want you to know the citizens of San Diego are speaking. If the mayor does not resign, the recall will happen. I have 524 recall signatures right here with me that have not been counted that I will be submitting today. It reflects 3 days of gathering signatures. Please be confident that the citizens of San Diego will successfully recall Bob Filner. Thank you.
John P. Falcon, followed by Julie Adams, followed by Enrique Morones.
Honorable members of the City Council,
Can't hear you.
there's a tremendous responsibility that you have before you today. I'm speaking in favor of the council accepting this responsibility, paying for the defense of Mayor Bob Filner in the case of McCormick Jackson against the city and it all, as well as any subsequent actions like that. I believe that state law dictates this. If you look into it, I'm sure Mr. Goldsmith has looked into this. Furthermore, this council has just recently, as someone has reminded you, paid for the defense of a policeman who was a serial rapist of many of his people that he stopped. Now, I'm sure that the mayor certainly deserves it at least as much as this rapist did. He's had 30 years or more of good public service. Now, this is not to condone whatever aberrant behavior he's admitted to already, but it does show that you have forgiveness in your heart if you go ahead with the terms that have been agreed to. Thank you very much for doing that.
Julie Adams, followed by Enrique Morones, followed by Rachel Lang.
Hello, Council, Mr. Goldsmith. Thank you for listening to all of us today. Many of us here have been out collecting signatures to recall this lecherous man. I came down here today just to let you know how determined our gatherers and voters are to get this predator permanently out of this building. It's been very heartwarming to see people approach me with a purposeful stride and a visible goal in their eye to sign this petition. To date, I have 423 signatures, including Peggy Shannon's, Catherine Regazino's, and Michelle Tyler's. But I'd really like 2 more signatures, even if they are symbolic. Miss Cole, who's not here, Miss Emerald, you're 2 very intelligent women, and I'm not sure why it took 16 victims to become crystal clear to you, but I would like to give you a chance to stand up for women, and specifically these 3 victims. Marty, here's my petition. Will you sign it? I'm going to leave it right here. Council, good luck. Just one request. Can you please add a clause requiring our predator, Bob Filner, to move at least 100 miles away from our city?
Enrique Morones, followed by Rachel Lang, followed by Laura Fink.
Buenas tardes. My name is Enrique Morones, and I'm a native San Diegan that's known Mayor Filner for at least 20 years. In the Pledge of Allegiance, we said liberty and justice for all. Yet that is not something that we are practicing here today. 40 years of standing on the side of justice, with the freedom riders, being in prison, standing with the oppressed. We have seen an overwhelming majority of San Diegans tired of this circus of the public execution that is taking place. We demand due process for the mayor as well as the accusers. In the history of this country, being what's popular has not always been what's just. When my children ask me, where were you when the public lynching of Mayor Filner took place? I will tell them I was not an accessory. I stood on the side of a man, Bob Filner, who has stood on the side of us for 40 years. But he has dedicated his lifetime to serving the oppressed. This is a sad episode in the history of San Diego and the country. My father was just in hospice. Hospice was mentioned earlier. He just passed away a few weeks ago. And one of the things he taught me and reminded me of was that we will always remember those that stood with us. We will always remember those that stood against us. But we will especially remember those that stood by and said nothing. Bob Filner is not perfect, nor are neither of us. This public circus in Kangaroo Court, this execution is shameful. It's time to pray. It's time to unite, forgive, and move the city forward. Thank
you. Rachel Lang, followed by Laura Fink, followed by Joan Raymond.
The city clerk has called your name and asked you to come forward and sit in one of the reserved seats in the front row, please.
Hi, I'm Rachel Lang. I'm part of the effort to recall Bob Filner. We've been tremendously successful, collecting more than 20,000 signatures in just 5 days, and there are thousands more on the streets by more than 1,200 volunteers who are just incredible. But despite our confidence that this recall will qualify for the ballot, we started this process to remove from office a predator who has abused and demeaned women in the course of his duties. A deal that includes a resignation will accomplish that goal. We understand why people are against a settlement that will pay Filner's legal bills, but this objection is emotional. The cost of keeping him in office through a recall, that means 6 months, it's going to take at least 6 months to get to an election, is incredibly high, and it continues to mount. Every day he's in office is a day that the city remains in paralysis and that his victims suffer. So you understand this, you know the impacts of the national media circus, of the impacts that it's bringing to our jobs and our businesses and our city's reputation. So we urge you to move forward with a good deal for our citizens that will include resignation and remove Bob Filner from office today. Thank you.
Laura Fink, followed by Joan Raymond, followed by Rosalind Winstead.
Good afternoon. My name is Laura Fink, and I'd like to address you today as a native San Diegan and a victim of Mayor Bob Filner's sexual harassment and abuse of power. My hope is that when you go to deliberate today, that you will bear in mind the 18 women that have come forward, and the many, many more that are not known publicly. I hope that you will consider the nature and degree of the deplorable behavior that the mayor has exhibited, and the havoc that he has wreaked on the lives of his victims and our beautiful city. Today I stand shoulder to shoulder with the other women that have come forward asking for the mayor to resign. This call has been universal among the victims of his reprehensible acts and represents a critical step forward toward justice for each of us. I hope that you will weigh carefully the offer that is before you and ask yourselves not only what the cost of resignation will be, but the cost to each of us of enabling Mayor Filner to remain in office indefinitely. Without the mayor's resignation, our city will continue to be paralyzed by this scandal, progress will be arrested, and our focus will continue to be monopolized by this dark chapter in our history. As Abraham Lincoln said, let us have faith that right makes might, and in that faith, let us dare to do our duty. We need to remove San Diego from this mire and do everything we can to move forward toward justice. Thank you.
Joan Raymond, followed by Rosalind Winstead, followed by Jacqueline Dismuke. And Joan Raymond has time ceded by Michael Lee Dornfeld, Liliana Gomez, and Bridget Brashear for a total of 4 minutes.
Good afternoon. I'm a City of San Diego retired garbage truck driver. I was brought up to be a strong woman and to immediately put a man in check if he was getting out of hand, not to wait and jump on a political bandwagon. One of Mayor Filner's accusers is Ronnie Froman, a retired Rear Admiral in the Navy who was Jerry Sanders' high-paid second-in-command official before she quit early. Navy Rear Admiral Froman had a whole fleet behind her, but she couldn't stand up to a mayor's alleged advances. Rosa Parks would not have sat at the back of the bus waiting for a high-powered attorney to represent her. Rosa Parks didn't wait. She stood up and she fought immediately as soon as she was being harassed. She didn't wait until there was money to be made. I hear this excuse that the mayor has to resign because the city can't operate without him. Please, give me a break. It's the city workers in the field who make the city run 24/7, regardless who is the mayor or who the top bureaucrats are. Our water is still being delivered, our toilets are still flushing, our trash is still being picked up, despite the political hysteria that the council and the media are prolonging. The people elected Bob Filner because they were tired of the city being run by a mayor who was beholden to big business and downtown development. They were tired of a mayor who was beholden to Doug Manchester's Union Tribune hotelier empire. They wanted a mayor who represents regular working folks instead of a Tea Party candidate. And I understand Mr. DeMaio apparently has his hand in something. The people deserve a transparent resolution that is not a backroom political deal. If the people want to recall Mayor Filner, so be it. Let the people vote. I'm not for or against Mayor Filner. I'm for the people's right to know the facts and the people's right to vote on who their mayor will be, not a decision that is backroom politics. And I'm asking you and Mayor Filner, to not settle, to stop feeding into the political hysteria, and to do your job of serving our neighborhoods. Serving instead of serving the gossip-fueled media accounts that line the pockets of Doug Manchester and his Union Tribune. I was also asked by one of our citizens back there, is Council President Gloria, if you're going to have Saturday hours for the people to come and talk to you like Mayor Filner did. Thank you very much for your time.
Rosalind Winstead, followed by Kathleen Dismuke, followed by Anita Wisnick-Turner.
Good afternoon. I have known Bob Filner for more than 20 years, and the man that I know is not the man being portrayed in the media circus that we have given witness to for the last few weeks. I am here today to thank Bob Filner for his many years of public service, whatever your decision. While I do not and cannot condone his acknowledged behavior, today is not the day that we witness the measure of the man or his legacy. Today is a sad day for San Diego, for those citizens who do not have a political action committee, for those who do not have lobbyists, and especially for people of color who have faced economic disparities for decades and have lost faith in their government. I want to thank Bob for his courage as a freedom fighter. I want to thank him for being an outspoken advocate for those that are disenfranchised, for people of color. I hope that in some ways, whatever your decision is made today, that the city will better meet its obligations to all San Diegans, not just entrenched business interests. And in many ways, I hope the city will model Bob's distinguished record of commitment to diversity and equity. Thank you.
Chaplain Dismuke, Anita Wisnick-Turner, followed by Stephen Greenwald. And please come forward and sit in the seats reserved for speakers when your name is called.
Hi, it's a Flemish name, so the E's not pronounced. This is Ron Dismuke. To all of my fathers and sisters of the City Council, I wanted just to encourage you. We will recover from this, and when we do, I think other cities will model what we've learned from this as well. What I just want to briefly say in reference to Bob is that I think Bob initially was genuine with me when he met with me at Kaiser Hospital. That's where I was a chaplain. He was genuine with me when he told me to be very supportive of the National Alliance for Mentally Ill, because I've been looking after Kathy for 41 years. That's my dear wife. He was genuine with me. I think he was genuine with me also when he learned that my last name is Flemish, and he learned that my brother, William, and him were on the Freedom Riders bus in Mississippi. He was very supportive also of my mother, who was arrested and put in jail because she was serving the first black couple in Clarksdale, Mississippi in 1960. He was supportive of my mother. And for that, I suppose that my lens has been somewhat clouded as a result of that. What I just simply wanted to say is that I've been scrutinized over the years as a chaplain. And through that scrutiny, I think I'm a better person as a result of that.
Thank you, sir.
I think what is going to happen today, I think we're going to learn from a lot of things.
Thank you, sir.
Anita Wisnick-Turner, followed by Stephen Greenwald, followed by Harold W. Mullins.
I was raised that we were supposed to treat people the way we want to be treated. That's what I told my kids also. But what I have seen is an unprecedented personal and political assassination on one of our esteemed people in office. It's unbelievable. What he's being charged with are anonymous allegations in the beginning, then they were unsubstantiated allegations. People came forward, they have never filed a police report, therefore they cannot be cross-examined, their motives cannot be ascertained, whether it's political, financial, personal, whatever their motives are, and they suffer no legal consequences for their actions. This is frightening. We went through a period in our history called the McCarthy era, when all you had to do in the 50s is point to someone and say, you're a communist. You lost your job,
You lost your career, and some of them went to jail. And that is not what we have. We have a constitutional right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. All these women that have come forward have said, he touched my cheek, he kissed my cheek, he rubbed my back, he rubbed my butt. I mean, what I'm saying to you, you have male relatives. Is this enough for your male relative? I think you would be outraged. And I hope and pray that you know God is watching.
Stephen Greenwald, followed by Harold W. Mullins, followed by Nancy DeForest.
Good afternoon, President Todd Gloria. Good afternoon, council members. Steve Greenwald. We live in the finest city in San Diego, thank God. I'd like to say a few words. Democracy is based on compromise and inclusion. In the end, we're going to all live together. Power can induce unethical conduct. And please, to err is human. To forgive is divine. So, on the one hand, Mr. Filner has a monster in him that he has to take care of. But on the other hand, as you've heard today, he's done some wonderful things. Gender equality, no cars in Balboa Park, marijuana, safe access, contracts with employees, fantastic. So it's a tough decision for you to make, but I think, as I said 3 weeks ago, here in this council meeting, that the defense costs should be paid for the city. It happened here in the city. It's between two city employees. But for the city and the relationship between these two, it would never have happened. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Thank you for your service.
Harold W. Mullins, followed by Nancy DeForest, followed by Nancy Chase.
It's Harold Mullins. I'm retired after 22 years in the Navy. I worked for the city of San Diego for 10 years. And I suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. About 30 years ago, in 1996, I was attacked by a group of drunken sailors down in Gitlow. And they called me racial terms and they get ready to throw me off a cattle car. I still don't remember what happened after someone said, I'm from New Jersey. Where I'm from, we don't jump on one guy. If you get me, you got to get me too. Now, while working with the city of San Diego, I encountered some racial stuff. The term nigger and monkey was used, and I freaked out. I didn't know why at the time, so they sent me to counseling. During counseling, it was the 1964 incident came forth. I was forced to retire with disability, non-addressable disability, in 1998.
Sir, I'm sorry, your time has expired. Can I ask you to wrap up your comments?
Okay, well, basically what I'm telling you is that Mayor Filner, while a congressman, he took my claim before the Congress, I guess, before the VA. In 2012, I was...
Okay, sir.
Okay, anyhow...
Sir, could you please address the issue of the settlement? What would you like the council to hear you say?
Oh, okay.
If
a recall, if the city of San Diego wants to do a recall, I recommend that they look over at the Superior Court judges in family court.
Okay, sir, thank you very much for your comments.
I've been in court for 6 years.
Okay, sir, thank you very much. I'm sorry, your time has expired, sir. I'd ask you to take a seat.
Thank you.
Nancy DeForest, followed by Nancy Chase, followed by Scott Andrews.
Hello, thank you. I'd like to start this out by saying directly to Mr. Filner that I have spoken with you 2 times, and those times you were respectful to me. And I am at the present time sleeping in the Alpha Project, which may not be available to me if it hadn't been for you. However, I believe you should resign. Not just because you touched women inappropriately, if you did that. Not just because you have a behavior problem, if you do. But because you weren't even truthful about the scheduling of the rehab you went to. You lied, in a sense, by going to the rehab a week early and not letting it be announced
to all of us until you were finished. That is what bothered me. Not necessarily the comments of the women, because this can happen anywhere. But that seemed to be wrong.
Thank you.
You want to preside, you want to continue after your rehab to preside over a group of citizens who can't really function well under leadership that doesn't value truth.
Thank you, ma'am. Your time has expired.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Nancy Chase, followed by Scott Andrews, followed by Barbara Suggs.
Good afternoon, Nancy Chase, Council President Gloria, and friends. This is a very sad day for me personally. Mayor Filner and I met in 1982 in the first lead class in San Diego, and I believe we've both gone on and done some things to help lead the city. And Mayor Filner, thank you for your decades of public service. That's really what I'm here to acknowledge, and I think other people have done that as well. I know this is not easy for any of you, but it is a very sad day. To end, you can be brief. I'd like to quote what a former mayor, who was also a dear friend, said on the day that he had to resign. And he quoted Adlai Stevenson. It hurts too much to laugh, and I'm too old to cry. Thank you.
Scott Andrews, followed by Barbara Suggs, followed by Kathleen Harmon.
So I want to thank Bob Filner for meeting all day Saturdays quite often, having flown the red eye out, and meeting with person after person after person, and then actually assisting them, actually following up for decades. So I'm here to announce that there's another major scandal about to break about a San Diego politician, someone mentioned for the race for mayor, a major politician. And it's going to hit the media. It's already hit today, the web. So what's unfortunate with the actions of our newspaper and our city attorney and our politicians is that before any due process has occurred, actually everything but due process has occurred. Smears in the newspaper, every accuser's comment printed and treated as gospel, no legal process, various threats of legal actions happening. So now what are we left with? We have a context for a political scandal that's going to see a continuation of unsubstantiated charges with no court, no deposition.
Thank you, sir. Your time
and that's going to be a tragic for all of you because you're now subject to what you helped create.
Barbara Suggs, followed by Kathleen Harmon, followed by Lori Black.
Distinguished members of the council, whatever you do in your deliberations today, I hope you have mercy and show mercy towards Mayor Filner. I'm not saying that what he did is right by any means, or what he's being accused of is right by any means, but have mercy on him. All of us will need mercy in our lives at some point, and so forth. I just wish to say that I'm a homeless man. A week ago, I sent a letter to the mayor's office, and I outlined my own personal reasons why he should resign, and I was like, Mr. Mayor, you know, say that you got this letter from this homeless man, and that's what persuaded you. I was trying to offer him a way out so the city wouldn't have to pay any money in any kind of thing. And I was telling him, you know, that maybe if you did this, maybe then all of the media spotlight would be on me and I'd be offered jobs and a whole bunch of stuff. But I was trying to save the mayor some money.
Thank you, sir. Your time is expired.
Kathleen Harmon, followed by Lori Black.
Good afternoon to all this 9-member council, to Todd Glory, our council chair, and all of you. I'm just wondering, when you go in that door, if you're really going to search your hearts and let God be your judge and leave the devil out and realize this is a man that we should not be sent away like we are. In 25 years, he's already proved what he's done, which has been good. And I just want to go on record to say thank you, Bob. Let go and let God, because he's your judger and he knows just what you have in the past. Thank you.
Lori Black, followed by Carol Wayman.
It takes a lot to get me out to city council, as you guys can imagine. Thank you, Council President Gloria and Kevin, City Attorney. I can't imagine what these days have been like for all of you. I can't imagine what your emails are like. How you feel. The reason you ran for office is because you love our city, and what it must be like to see it crushing and paralyzed by just insanity and dysfunction. My words to you is, as you go in there, you love your city, and it's about our city. It's not about any of you. It's not about the citizens of San Diego, those that you represent, but it is really about the city that we all love. And make your decisions with the intention of loving our city, and I think you will come to the right conclusion. And thank you for taking your vacation, which you deserve, to do and help heal our city and move it forward. I'm really grateful. Thanks.
Carol Wayman. Is Carol Wayman present?
Yes, Carol Wayman is present. My name is Carol Wayman, and I have three things to say primarily. I was the official representative of the city of San Diego to Martin Luther King's funeral. I was the official representative, and then a whole team. That's number one. The other is I came to San Diego to head the Human Relations Agency, and it was I, after reviewing many, many reports, that coined the phrase, San Diego is the Mississippi of the West. That was my coining. I was for the press every day. I came here, and for 5 years, we worked as human relations. We couldn't sit here like this in many places. We couldn't eat in restaurants. No restaurant would hire any of us as waiters or waitresses because of my beautiful color, period. We didn't work in hotels because of my beautiful color, period. We didn't have a single black person as a teller in any of the banks, period. I was denied service, although I came here to work in human relations and race relations. I was denied service with a major restaurant in the valley. It's on the record. The owner chose to change it on the spot and say that's not our policy. You didn't serve this man because of his color, but you served his buddy here because he was with him. No, that will not be it. He fired the waitress on the spot. And he also said, you may come and bring anybody you will, and I'll give you a whole bunch of tickets here. And for 1 year, whoever you come, whoever wishes to serve, whoever comes here will be served free for 1 whole year because we were denied service because of what? Our color. He kept his word. He did it. I sent many families out there to test him. He did it. Yeah. San Diego now has turned the corner. So I've written another article that says the new San Diego. But before that happens, I will give you the rest of it. If the mother and father of Obama had come here, for him to be born in 1961, yeah. only one major hospital would have allowed him to be born there, period. As a result of that, he could not have been born there. They could not have eaten in a major restaurant. No restaurant would have allowed them there. They could not have lived in a hotel. Thank you. In a hotel. And I'm suggesting now it's a sad day. We have moved beyond Mississippi, but I think now Mississippi has moved beyond us. And I'm sad to say he's a great man. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. For the record, Steve Hadley has exceeded him his time, so he had 2 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the public testimony. The council will now adjourn into closed session. We may reconvene into open session at the conclusion of the special closed session.